Happy Halloween. This is Sunday Gathering Halloween style. Yes, it is. Well, it is the day before Halloween, and I like to be a little festive, yes. But each week we're here to bring you hope and faith and happiness. And I said before the start, laughter is like a massage from the inside. So if we can put a smile on your face while we inspire, that's what we aim to do. Phil will be telling us of what our theme is today, but it does have something to do with fear. And as you saw by that last video, anytime you're afraid, get out the disco ball and just dance. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Phil.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. But how did I end up as the pumpkin? I want to know that, okay? But did you notice all those zombies in Thriller? They had hair. I still don't, I just get jealous about everything, really. But no, welcome to the Sunday Gathering. It's an absolute pleasure to be here again and to be your host as well, who designed the theme. And the theme is for Halloween, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because whatever we do in life, there's things that get in the way, that little voice inside, those little heartbeats that stop us doing things called nerves, and we get a little bit anxious. But when we've done it, we think, what's all that fuss about? So that's what today is about, finding that strength. And we've got some wonderful people here. We have, as you know, the wonderful and extraordinary Sandra Champlain that's always up to mischief, hence the videos. And I'm sure there's going to be a few more in there, no doubt. And she's smiling like butter would not melt. So I know that is true. We also have the wonderful Shirley Ann Sharp as well from New Zealand, who's going to be doing the opening prayers and the address, and the wonderful Dorrie Rice from Canada too, to do the mediumship. And my job, ladies and gentlemen, is just to sit back and enjoy just as you are. And I'm sure we're going to have this wonderful time together. I want to thank everybody for those wonderful messages that they send in as support. And as Sandra's announced, the chat box is open. So let us know your thoughts, where you're from, absolutely everything. I mean, if you're enjoying it, writing there as well. But today is all about having that fear and doing it anyway. So without further ado, we have those fears, we have those nerves. I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Shirley Ann Sharp to open us up in prayer.
Thank you, Phil. And if we could all join together for a moment, just in that little bit of silence, that very special place we have inside. Divine and loving Spirit, we come together today as one community, as one power, as a powerhouse of light in search of truth and understanding. We ask that the unseen world draws close to join us. We ask our loved ones to draw close and sit with each of their loved ones. Drawing so close, your presence will be felt. Let us all be inspired to look closely at who we are and be encouraged to nurture that new growth, to help and inspire others to know that life is such a precious gift. Each new day, we are given a chance to start a refresh. Please help us to take that opportunity. We are here to experience life. Help us to understand the fine threads that link us all together, the threads that link us to nature and Mother Earth, and know our total connection to the One, letting us know we never walk alone. We ask for all of this with peace, love, and gratitude as we leave this lovely gathering, this Halloween gathering, this inspired gathering in your healing hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley Ann. I've taken the makeup off just for a little while. We're going to start out, instead of doing a reading today, Phil has picked a very powerful video. And if you want to close your eyes, just let the words sink in, or not, that's perfectly all right. But really let it just soak in. Being courageous, feeling the fear and going forward anyway is a powerful thing. And there's not one of us who has not faced fear and will not face, and we're going to all face fear again. And I'll share a little bit more about that towards the end. But we're going to start off listening to this powerful video, followed immediately by our healing song. So you'll see something pop up at the end of the video going into healing. This is an opportunity to send love, send prayers, send just powerful thoughts to everyone in the world that needs it. People, places, pets if necessary. You know, we can help people by the power of prayer. And if you don't know how to pray or not really sure what to do in the healing part, imagine the people in your life and the people around the world being happy, whole, complete, perfect, living a great life as if it's already so. And that will be the best blessing. So we're going to go into the video first, which is just a few minutes, and then go into our healing song. And then we've got the amazing Shirley Ann, who's going to be doing our dress for today. All right, here we go.
Thank you. And I have to say, what a powerful, powerful video. And that song, just the energy and the passion that lady throws out. Well, I'd like to say to you a quote from Susan Jeffers: "I can handle it." Our lives are made up of a smorgasbord of experiences. Our lives are lots of stories. All the experiences and the challenges or situations you have gone through in differing degrees have changed or shaped you. Everything we experience has an effect, but you have got the choice, the power to decide on how and to what extent it affects you. How that experience moves your emotions and feelings determines your reaction. You are the canvas and the artist to create your own picture. How lucky are we? We get to create our own picture. Eckhart Tolle said, don't react against a situation, merge with that situation instead, and the solution will arise from the challenge. Experiences are movement. Movement is growth. Growth is feeling, and feeling is alive. Being aware of your power, feeling your own energy, and noticing your vibration helps you strengthen your own inner world. You are your own powerhouse. When you are in your own power, things may be viewed in a position from strength and clarity. This clarity can change the way you think about things, break old, tiresome patterns, and create the opportunity for your continuous growth. Be willing to trust your own strength and your own inner power. I want you to listen to your own instincts, that little inner voice, and believe me, it can hold the answers from within that lie there waiting to explode just to help you. Always know you are limitless. Limitless, the feeling of that word limitless. The possibilities are limitless, but only you can plant that seed. Through this journey, your confidence, courage, intuition, perseverance, persistence, reliance, self-love, trust, and these are just to name a few qualities that all work together to make you a stronger person. These attributes strengthen as you use them, just like a muscle. They get stronger and stronger, and along with that muscle, so do you. Using them helps build your self-awareness, helping you to make better choices. Be that activist within. Reach out, search for that knowledge to help you question and grow. Growth. The law of nature tells us what we put out is what we receive. And you control that. No one else. You control that. You are in a world where we are always searching for that one golden, precious moment. But hey, being alive, that's the golden moment. Being alive within has a brilliance, that magic spark, and awareness of who you actually are, who that inner person is. That inner power and courage has no limits and it has no faults. It's truly individual. You are unique, a one and only. There's no one like you. But be more of yourself and keep being more and keep being more again. And when you've put that third layer on, put another layer on of being more. You know, to risk failure is to seek success. If you have felt sadness, then you know happiness. If you have loved well, then that is to know the depth of grief. The wholeness of your dreams and hopes is very individual, and only you can fully understand your true vision. When putting your dreams and hopes into action, you have to push through that inner critic, the inner self-doubt, which suddenly seems to have so much power, it just takes over. When you push through emotions you may have carried for much of your life, maybe even from childhood, it can be the most liberating thing to release, push through, and change. This will affect your inner world, your outer world, and your upper world, the whole you. Thomas Edison was told he was stupid. Believe it or not, Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Don't get that one. Albert Einstein was told he would never amount to much. Well, look how that turned out. Elvis Presley was told he would never make it. That I just don't get. When you push past that inner critic, you become aware of changes in thought patterns, your own triggers, and how you react to things and people. As your inner growth moves into your outer world, you may change. You may find people around you change. Some people may drift away. Some friends may drift away. And you may be attracted to new friends with similar interests or perhaps similar goals. This is not a bad thing. It's just movement. Loved ones and family may also notice changes in you, which could bring about all number of possible changes within your immediate environment. You can dance your own dance. It's a waste of your power to worry about how others are dancing theirs. By dancing your own step, you master your own dance. You master your own creativity. You master your own destiny and move forward into just embracing it. The experience of living here right now in this moment is a one-off, a one-time only. There's no redos, guys. Let's just take a moment to close our eyes. So just close your eyes with me, and I want you to expand and push your thought out to touch the walls in your room. Just allowing that beautiful power you own to push, move to those outer walls. Now fill the room with your thought, your presence. Fill the whole room. Feel it bursting out the windows. Feel it bursting out the doors. Feel it within the carpet. Feel it under the wallpaper. Feel your presence surrounding your light. Feel that strength. And if you think you've pushed it out far enough, push it out even further. Never say enough. Allow that power to keep expanding. It has no limits. And now it's moving outside the room into the next room and down the hallway and out the front door. You've surrounded your whole property with your power. Now, sadly, just slowly, now come back to full consciousness. Just slowly take a moment just to join me, follow my voice, back into the seat of where you are. Wow. Take that feeling into your everyday. Walk within your beauty. How good does that feel? Eckhart Tolle said again, the most important life lesson to be learnt is the realization of who you are. In essence, beyond the person. You are the one within your experience of your life and the only one to evaluate how your belief systems, your understanding can participate within this world. The life we live makes the building blocks for who we are when we move into our next phase of living. And that is when we move into the world of spirit. We have an opportunity to build the world we wish in that next phase of living. To achieve this, it takes teamwork. It's me, my soul, and my spirit. We are all spirit, having a human experience to the best way we can. The main thing is that we try our very best in all aspects of our life to be the best version of ourselves. Even if we fall and fail occasionally, yes, and life is going to get bumpy at times, but it's in the trying that we can find peace. And as the song says, it's within the climbing that we get to find out who we really are. You matter. You are important. So my challenge to you is dare to shine, dare to show yourself. Always let your bright light shine, and shine as loud as it can, and polish it as many times as it needs to be polished. It's always there for you to tap into, for you to increase. But gosh, dare to shine, my friends, dare to shine. Thank you.
Shirley Ann, that was amazing. I know we can't clap here for you really, but if you guys want to show a little love, press your raise hand button. Yeah, that's a hands up all over the place, Shirley Ann. Thank you so much for that powerful, powerful address and helping us remember who we truly are. We are powerful souls having a human experience. And boy, you pushed our spirit so far beyond our walls, but ladies and gentlemen, I think it goes much further than she even described. So thank you so much, Shirley Ann. We're going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship. And the beautiful, wonderful Dory Rice has volunteered to be with us and be our medium today. We're so grateful, Dory. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this goes. Now, I know we have friends here who have been with us since the start, 136 weeks ago. Crazy. I think it's 136, but we do have some friends here for the first time. We celebrate life, we celebrate empowerment, but it's also important for us to prove that our loved ones are around, that when we take our final breath, we will open our eyes and be surrounded by our loved ones, even our kittens and doggies and horses and parrots, and all of them will be there. Anyone that we have loved will be there. But while we're living this earth, it's a very painful time. There is a lot of joy. And like you said, Shirley Ann, if you know love, you know grief, etc. So we like to celebrate. We are joined with our spirit team. Now you may see Dory, Phil, Shirley Ann, and I in front of you today. And there will be a handful of people from the spirit world that step forward on behalf of all of our loved ones in the spirit world. Right now around you, and not just for our Sunday gathering, you have a team of loved ones and spirit helpers that are in your corner for your life. Now, once we migrate into that unseen world, we still have lives to live. We can certainly create whatever it is we want and explore, but we can also multitask and we can just be right over here with us. So I love the term hereafter, because heaven or the summerland, whatever you want to call it, isn't out there somewhere beyond the clouds. It's right here, right now. And instead of them coming in to be part of our world, we are part of their world. So we will understand it all, hopefully, once we get over there. But I just heard someone talk about how, if you can imagine us and our life here on Earth, is we're living in a snow globe. We all have the snow globes, right, that you can shake and it starts to snow. Well, just outside of the plastic of the snow globe, they can see everything that's going on. We just don't have that vantage point yet. But our life is important right here and right now. So we like to celebrate with the joining of the two worlds. In a couple of moments, Dory will be our medium, and the spirit world, they have a plan. They have a plan of who's going to come through. And I do believe the spirit people speak on behalf of everyone. So we want you to listen in closely, because a person from the spirit world will be in touch with her using her mind, her memories, her feelings, her thoughts, maybe even smells and tastes. You never know how they work. And she will do her best and give a few brief bits of information in the beginning about the person who has contacted her. And yes, we are still people when we go over there. We don't need to take a breath. We don't need to breathe air, but we are still very, very much alive. And we're still us with, we all get to bring our senses of humor over with us. So when you listen to those words of the person, if you can understand all of them, like that is a person that I know that no longer walks this earth, we want you to press your raise hand button. And we'd like you to be able to accept 100% of the information, okay? So if she says, I've got a son, I feel like it's a son in the spirit world. But if you say, oh, my dad can take, fits all that description, don't raise your hand. Let her do the work. And if no hands get raised and she'll change the relationship, just listen in. But we always have a large Sunday gathering and people get very excited. But we do ask that you understand every bit of information. It could be a family member, it could be a friend. Sometimes it's somebody distant, somebody maybe you know from the past that wasn't that close, but just really be on the edge of your seat listening in. So like I said, if you can understand every bit of information, we want you to press your raise hand button. And if you didn't get a chance to press it earlier, or if you just want to press it again, press your raise hand button now, just to see what happens on your side. Yes, it goes from raise hand, and then it should say lower hand. And then I see the hands going down. Now, we can't see your faces. We do see your names, which is nice, but nobody else can. So we can tell how many hands are raised and such. If you are someone who gets a reading from Dory, I'm going to press a button on my side and it'll pop up on your side that the host would like you to unmute yourself. So just press that button to accept when it shows up, and that'll allow you to talk to Dory. Now, when I say talk, what's important is that you let her do the work with the spirit world, and all you need to do is say yes or no, or I don't know if that's appropriate. She will be doing her best to deliver what she is getting from these spirit folks. Okay, I know it's so easy to get excited and want to share about your loved one, but we're going to ask you not to do that, just so everyone knows that this is the spirit world coming through. And if your loved one doesn't come through, which we get a handful of these beautiful representatives, it's to let everyone know that love is here from this spirit world, that all of our loved ones are here. Okay, so they have it finally figured out. And I always find that in every reading, I can pull something for my life as well. There really is gold in any time that someone speaks. So just listen in for that. So we're going to go into a piece of music. Now, it is a feel-good piece of music, and there might be a little Sandra magic in it. So if you want to keep your eyes on the screen, felt like a little trip to the haunted mansion, didn't it? Oh, well, Dory, thank you so much for being here and volunteering your time as our medium today. We love you, we appreciate you, and we're so grateful you're here.
Thank you so much. I'm telling you, this has to have been the most exciting Sunday gathering that I have attended in 2.5 years while this has been going on. I almost got the shock of my life when I first came on, because I thought I pressed the wrong button. I didn't know where I was. So I thoroughly enjoy it. And I know that this has been an uplifting, inspiring session today with everything. The video, and particularly I enjoyed Shirley Ann's talk. I mean, that one, if it didn't stir some hearts out there, I don't know what would. So I thank you, every one of you. Now, as I turn my mind to the spirit world, I know that I have a gentleman here, and he is a father, and he was a teacher. And I know this teacher was an even-tempered man, so that the quality that I'm seeing in him the most is a word that is called equanimity. And I know that he is reaching out to speak to his daughter.
Thank you very much, Dory. All right, ladies, if you can recognize this information for your father, if you could go ahead and press your raise hand button. Dory, we have 2 lovely ladies with their hands raised.
Okay. I do feel with your dad that he was a man who was one of the best listeners, even in a crisis. He would not interrupt. He would just sit there and quietly take the information in.
All right, we have Beth and Sandy with their hands raised. And Joanna just raised her hand. Now, remember, ladies, if you take this information, you take 100% of the information. All right, so we still have hands raised for the
Okay.
father.
I know that your father would have passed from a heart attack.
All right. All hands went down, Dory.
Oh. Okay, then. I do have a feeling this was a blood or circulatory problem that this gentleman had and passed from it. See if that helps.
All right. Beth and Sandy and Joanna, can you take that information? Blood, circulatory. Well, Cynthia has her hand raised, so let's bring in Cynthia. Cynthia, could you press your unmute button? Hi, Cynthia.
Hi.
Cynthia, you can take this. Your dad was a teacher. He was a very even-tempered gentleman, and he would have had some sort of a blood condition or circulatory problem.
He taught people how to deal with money, but I don't know if that's a proper teacher. That's why I didn't put my hand up earlier.
I'm sorry, Cynthia, but I feel this gentleman was a teacher of a different sort, because I do very much feel that this man would have been a specialist in literature and English.
No, he was a very well-educated man, but he wasn't a teacher. I've made a mistake.
No, you just stay there and keep listening, because I could have made a mistake in the interpretation. So listen, and we'll see if someone else comes in. But I do feel that language was very important to this gentleman.
Yes, he was a very intelligent man.
Dory, we have Fran with her hand raised. Let's bring
Okay,
in
could we bring
Fran.
both in just so we can see?
Absolutely, we can. Hi, Fran.
Hi.
Fran, you would understand that your dad would have been a man who really valued words,
Yes.
and that he was very precise in finding just the right word to explain an emotion or a feeling.
Uh-huh.
You would understand also that he had an area in the house that we wouldn't, nowadays we'd probably call it an office, but he would refer to it as his study.
No.
Would you understand that he had an area in the house that had books, shelves of books?
Yes.
Okay, and this was your dad's books.
Yes.
I also know that your father would have had times when you would have sat with him in this area for conversations,
Yes.
and that these times were intimate between father and daughter.
Yes.
I also know that he gave you the same love of books that he had,
Somewhat. Mm-hmm.
but I also feel that you have inherited some of his books.
I have.
And I also feel that he had a couple of very valuable books.
I think so.
There's
Yes.
a couple that have inscriptions in the inside.
One or two might have it. Yes.
I know that your father valued any kind of a book that came to him that had been signed by the author. So I do feel that those are a couple of the books that you would understand.
I think so.
Okay. But I want to say about your dad that there was, I'm going to say a softness.
Yes, he was soft.
When I say soft, I don't mean that he was undisciplined or anything like that. When I say soft, I mean tenderhearted.
Yes.
Because I know that he was such a wonderful listener that when you came to him with an issue, you saw the emotion in his eyes, but he didn't open his mouth, and he respected very much your speech and letting you bring out your issues.
Most of the time. Uh-huh.
Would you understand that the two of you were very different in personality?
Maybe.
I'm going to say that your father would have been a lot quieter, and he would have been less expressive.
Yes.
Okay. When I see your dad,
Sweet boy.
you would understand he had a satchel. Do you know what I mean by a satchel?
I know what a spatula is.
No, I'm talking, it's similar to a briefcase.
I see. Yes, he did.
But it would have been a little more old fashioned than what we see of an attache case. He would have had a different kind.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And he always had that by his side. He took it back and forth with him. And I know that he spent a lot of time digging into it.
I'm not sure. He didn't have it always with him.
Okay. Would you understand that he would have carried this back and forth though?
Sometimes.
Okay. Now with your father, and now I'm saying father, so I know that there were times when he could be quite formal.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a no.
Okay.
But I'm going to say that there were times when I feel that your father would have been someone who talked about the rules and the values,
Yes, he did.
and that he would very much have been one that, I'm not saying he didn't color outside the lines, but he would have a set of rules that you would work within. And
Yes.
he felt that this was, then he allowed you latitude within those rules.
Yes.
Okay. I feel too very much that there was a warmth about your father that everyone perceived, you including. And you saw him with other people demonstrating that kind of warmth of understanding.
I think so. With me, for sure.
I also feel that your father was very well respected among his colleagues and his friends. So
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
the feeling of warmth that I have towards your dad.
Very much so, yeah.
Okay. I know that your father wants to put your heart at ease for some reason. And would you understand you've been doing some research on your own?
I have, yes.
And there's that you are looking for a particular answer right now, and that you've been putting out your feelers, so to speak.
I think so, yeah.
Well, I want you to know that your dad says that follow the same routine that he would have followed, because he gave you some very good guidelines when you had issues that you had to resolve.
Okay.
And I know that he wants you to know that he's very present when you thumb through the old books. You just don't do it enough.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to leave your father's love with you and say thank you very much for allowing me to work with
Well,
you.
thank you so much. That was very awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fran. Thank you, Dory. And of course, thank you, Dad.
Let me see who else we have. I have another gentleman coming through. And I know he brings with me the name of Tom. I'm not saying that that is the gentleman's name, but I know that this is a name that is associated with him. And I'm just going to see if you'll move a little closer so I can give you some more information. Okay, I feel I have another father here, but this is a different kind of father, where the other gentleman would have been very quiet and very even-tempered. This gentleman was much more excitable, and he was a prankster. He would have been a trickster, and this time of the year would have delighted him. And I know that he would have dressed up for Halloween. Is there someone who can take a dad like this, who was a trickster, who would have dressed up at Halloween, and you can take the name Tom as well?
Thank you, Dory. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We have Alan with hand raised. Let's see. Alan, could you press the unmute button? Hello.
Right. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Alan. You can understand your dad was a real prankster.
Well, it's actually my uncle, not my
Oh,
dad.
it's your uncle. Oh, okay. Let me just further, can you take the name Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. You would understand that at Halloween, he would have been someone who would be dressed up and would be taking every opportunity.
Oh, he's absolutely idiot.
Pranks and jokes.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
so Halloween would have been his Christmas, his New Year's, his birthday, everything rolled into one.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
But I also know that he loved to wear masks or makeup.
Yeah, he did. He scared the living daylights out of me when I was younger.
And I know that there would have been a time when he dressed as Dracula,
He may well have done. I know he was.
because there are these two teeth that I
Oh,
know
yeah, yeah.
that were hanging out of his mouth.
That's right.
And he really could scare the children, and he didn't think there was anything wrong with doing
No,
that.
he didn't. No, he didn't. No.
But there's such a delight. I mean, he was really, when it came to Halloween and doing these pranks, he was really quite childish.
He was, for a man of his age, he was actually very childish, but fun.
But fun, definitely fun.
Yeah.
Because I know that as much as the children got scared with him, there was also that laughter that came with it. And he just thrived on this.
Oh, he did. He loved it.
And I almost feel as he was a thwarted comedian. He would have loved slapstick comedy and this kind
Oh,
of
God,
stuff.
yeah. No,
I
definitely.
mean, this is just everything about him, and it's hard to catch him in a serious mood.
It was actually very hard to catch him in a serious mood.
And I know the other thing that was an issue was sometimes he could be absolutely deadpan and be telling you something, and you were quite convinced and you were upset. And then he'd say, that was just a joke. I was just fooling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's him all over. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But what a lot of fun.
Oh, he was lovely. Absolutely lovely man.
I know with him too that, oh my, he had a habit of sneaking up on people too.
Yeah, family members, everyone, he done it too.
And I know that, I know someone had told him that it wasn't a good thing because they really, really took a fright when he did it.
That would be his dad.
And he was very upset with them, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
But I can't stop smiling because I know that this man was just, he was just such a delight. He was just.
He was. No, definitely.
I know he's passed on his sense of humor to you too, though.
That's true.
Not as much of a trickster, but you do.
Not as much, but no, that does
Excellent
make
sense.
sense.
You
Yeah,
have an excellent sense of humor.
yeah.
I will say though that your father is saying that he's not, you're not as daring, and I'm going to use the
Not,
word daring.
I used to be, but I'm not so much now.
Okay. Let's see what else he's got here. It's really hard to get your father to do anything serious, isn't it? Because even when I change my tone with him, he comes right back at me and he's back into his bubble, is what I want to say.
Well, he's my uncle, but I know what you mean.
But you know, he was the soul of kindness as well.
Oh, he
because,
was, yeah. Yeah,
he
definitely.
didn't have a cranky bone in his body, I'm going to say.
No,
He
he
was-
didn't. He was too kind.
I also know, though, that you would understand he had a huge disappointment within his life, with an individual within the family.
Yeah, yeah.
And
no,
that
definitely.
caused him a lot of difficulty and a lot of hardship.
Yes, yeah.
But however, your dad is letting me know that his way to deal with disappointments in life was by using his humor.
That's right. That was one way of him getting through the pain.
And I know that he tells me that he lets me know that you're using the same kind of attitude to get through the tough times for yourself.
Very true. Very, very true.
And because when hard things happen to you, your dad is saying that you think back on memories that the two of you shared. And
Yeah,
this
that's-
helps you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was talking about him the other day to my mum.
I know you have a picture of him in costume.
No, my mum has.
Ah, but he's really in, I'm going to say, in full gear. You would understand
Actually,
that?
I've got the photo on my phone.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
just
But he's
remembered.
in full gear, is he not?
Oh, he's in full gear. He's dressed up like a little girl.
Okay. But I just want to tell you, he's an absolutely, I can't stop grinning. He's just such a delightful man. And I know that you take after your dad. I know that you don't do the full bore, the full gear,
Oh, no.
but I
no.
know that in temperament, I know that you have followed in his footsteps. And I know that you use that humor to get you through the tough times that you're going through right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Alan, it's been an absolute delight to have your father come. And I'm not going to call him father again because I have to call him dad because although I think that there are some other names that he had as well. He had nicknames. Am I correct?
Well, he was my uncle, but he was like a
I'm
dad.
sorry. I keep saying that because he feels very much like a
Yeah.
dad to me.
Well, he was like a dad as well as more of a dad than uncle.
I just appreciate him coming and having the
No,
opportunity to speak with
I
you,
thank
Alan.
you for it. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Wow, what a heart lifter, I'll tell you.
We love that.
Oh, gee. Okay, let's see. It must be the Halloween spirit that's doing this. I don't know, but I
Must be.
can't stop. I can't get the grin off my face.
That's all good.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I know I have a lady coming now. Let's just see. Okay, I have a lady and I want to call her the Lady of the Lake. And I know that she would have lived by water. And I don't have a feeling this is family. I feel that this is a friend. And I want to say that she was a very quiet, artistic lady. So I feel that she would have been someone who exhibited a lot of creativity. She would have done a lot of things. She would have done things like watercolors, but she expressed her creativity in so many different ways. Now, this would have been a friend. Can we see if there's anyone who can take this lovely lady?
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if this resonates with you, lady that lived by the water, lots of artistic abilities. Friend, we have Linda and Jane, both with their hands raised.
Okay. I would also say that this lady would have loved flowers, and in particular, all types of lilies.
All right, Linda and Jane, both hands up. One hand went down. We'll bring in Linda Lee. Linda, if you could press your unmute button. Hello.
Hi, Sandra. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Glad you're here.
I'm not sure about the lilies. I put my hand down, but I was too late.
Okay, you would understand though that she did watercolors
Oh, yes.
and that she would have used flowers in a lot of her watercolors.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is where we're going then. But I also feel that this lady would have been someone who had just a totally creative bent of mind. She could, I would say that her garden would have been beautiful. Her house would have exhibited that kind of creativity and design. Would you understand that?
I do understand that on a certain level.
But would
It's
you
just-
also understand clutter?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I get the feeling that this lady would have had books and magazines that she would have had piled,
Yes.
but she knew where everything was.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I were to look at her room, I might think that she was scattered, but she wasn't. She just was a lady with many, many interests.
Correct.
Would I be correct in saying she was several years older than you, Linda?
That's correct.
But I felt that there was a meeting of the minds that she felt anyway.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And that there's almost like, I'm not going to say mentorship because it's not that, but it was a lot of shared interests.
Well, it actually was mentorship.
Oh, well, then I should have believed myself the first.
It's both those things, Dory.
Okay.
It was both.
But I also know that she's letting me understand that you taught her an awful lot.
Oh, Nice.
I'm going to say that there was a fair exchange of ideas, so that there was an equality to this relationship, even though we've talked about it being a mentorship.
Well, yes, I'd say yes.
Because I know that you contributed a different perspective to her, and she was the type of person that could take in other people's idea without feeling that she was she didn't have a feeling of seniority, is what I want to say, or that she was more experienced or better. She had this feeling of acceptance, is what I want to say.
Yes, I agree with that.
Very open-minded. Okay.
Yes, very.
Open-minded. That I couldn't find what I was trying to say, but I know that with her, age didn't make a difference, culture didn't make a difference. She was really a woman who embraced a universal attitude.
Correct.
You would understand she was extremely creative when it came to writing,
Oh, yes.
and that she had a way with words that was absolutely beautifully unique.
You nailed it.
And I almost want to say she was the type of person that could taste words.
Ah, nice.
That words held a value to her, and she was extremely precise in finding exactly the right word.
Correct.
And I know that it was because emotion put into words, if you didn't have the right word, resulted in a miscommunication. So she taught you as well
That's correct.
how to use these kinds of words relating to emotion.
Correct. She tried to.
Would you understand that you also write?
I do.
Okay. And that she was a great resource for you here.
Absolutely.
I know too, though, that when she read something that you had written, she would critique and not criticize.
Absolutely.
So she was very generous in how she dealt with other people and their creative abilities.
That's correct.
But I know that there was a real, you weren't the only one that she mentored,
Right.
but I know that she had a real soft spot for you. You had a unique relationship with her.
Well, that's very nice.
I'm going to say that I was feeling that it's almost a motherly connection, but she was too professional for that.
Right.
But there was a fondness that you were aware of.
Oh, yeah.
I know that she was someone that was larger than life, and you knew it.
Yes.
Linda, I know that you turn to her when you write and she's there, because there's always that feeling that she's still mentoring you, she's still giving you a helping hand. So I know that it's a relationship you have always treasured.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to say thank you very much for allowing me to make that connection with
Well,
her.
I
And
have to.
rest assured, she's still just as interesting as she's always been.
Well, Dory, I have to thank you. That was absolutely amazing.
She's a lovely, lovely lady. Very
Thank you
interesting.
so much. Yeah,
Very
she
interesting.
certainly is.
Thank you
Thanks so
much.
much.
Okay, let's see what else we can do here. I have a bus driver. And I know that this gentleman would have driven a school bus. And this would have been later in his life. So I feel that being a school bus driver was also a busman's holiday for him, so that he would have been someone who drove a bus before and then drove a school bus later on.
Oh, how nice. Ladies and gentlemen, who can understand this gentleman? And again, it may not be an immediate relative, so you just might
I have no
think out of the
feeling
box.
of family, quite frankly, I don't.
Okay, we have our friends Sue and Pete with their hands raised. Let's see. Would you unmute yourselves there?
There we go.
Is that you, Pete, or Sue?
Yeah.
Pete.
Yeah.
Pete.
Pete, you would understand that you would know this gentleman?
I know a gentleman drove school bus. Or, yes.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you.
Well, I'll come a bit closer. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew a gentleman or gentlemen who drove school buses. Yes.
Okay. And this would have been a friend of yours?
Yes.
Okay. But I also feel that you knew him before he drove a school bus?
No, don't think so. No.
Would you have been aware that he had not always driven a school bus, but had driven a bus?
I'm aware that most of them had driven buses. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm not sure this is right. But.
All right. I also feel this is another sweet gentleman. You would understand that? He was very
Yes,
good with the children that sat on his bus.
Yeah.
And I know that he kept an eye out for them so that he was very, very aware if there was difficulties with a child.
I think I haven't got any one particular because, well, without going into details, I knew 2 or 3 and most of them would be the same. That was part of the job.
Okay, well, let me see if I can get something that will narrow it down for you, okay?
Okay.
You would understand that this gentleman would have worn a cap when he worked. You know what I mean by?
That's what I'm thinking here. I can't think of one of those men that I knew that did wear a cap. Can't think
All
of
right.
one.
If he didn't wear it when he worked, could you take that when he finished his shift, he put his cap on?
No, I can't take that either.
Okay, I'm sorry, Pete, I'm sorry, but this doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right to me. No, I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right. We'll just see if there's someone else who can take some of this information.
Well done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Donna Marie has her hand raised.
Okay. Hello, Donna Marie.
Hi, I'm just going into another room. Sorry. I know a man like that in living, and I know his family in spirit. I don't know if that feels right with you.
No, this man's definitely in spirit.
In spirit.
Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me just check. No, Donna Marie, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It
that's
feels
fine.
like he's in spirit.
Thanks.
Christy has her hand raised. Thank you, everyone, for listening in.
Hello.
Hi, Christy.
Hey,
Christy, you would understand this gentleman was a school bus driver
my great uncle was a school bus driver.
and that he was very aware of the sort of personal nature or difficulties with the children who rode his bus.
I'm not sure about that.
Would you understand that he would have talked to you about some of the children that rode the bus with him?
I was a young child, but we did speak of sometimes on the school bus.
Okay. Would you understand, I really do feel that this gentleman would have worn a hat of some sort, either a baseball cap or a cap.
I think he wore more of a dressier hat.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave the hat for a moment. Let's see if we can get some more information and see if this will come through a little more easily. Would you understand that your uncle would have had problems with his legs?
I don't remember, no.
Okay. I know this gentleman had difficulty with his legs because he sat for such a long time. And I know that he would have had to wear some sort of a pressure stocking. So, Christine, do you don't have very much information about your uncle?
It was just an older generation, my father's brother. So I was younger, but he did sit a lot, even
Okay.
at home.
Okay. This still isn't feeling right. I'm sorry, but the gentleman that I have, I do know that he drove a school bus. He would have had difficulties with his legs, and he would have had to wear some sort of a support stocking on his legs. So
Just one more shout out to everyone in our family here. Does this ring true to someone else? No worries about putting up your hand. We're safe space here.
Yeah.
Ariel has her hand raised. Oh, I'm sorry. Could you press your unmute again? I accidentally pressed
pretty
muted her. I know. All right, one more time. Hello.
Hi. I have my godfather who used to drive a bus, but he didn't drive a bus before that. I'm not sure about his legs. I do know he had issues with that. So I'm not sure if it's him or not.
It feels better because I do feel that the legs are important, because I do believe that I know he had problems with varicose veins and the potential for blood clots is what I'm feeling.
Okay. He may have had that, yes.
Okay. Let me just see if I can get a little bit more and clarify some issues, okay? I do know that this gentleman, your uncle, you said your uncle?
Godfather.
Godfather. Your godfather also would have been a man who was interested in the issues of the children in his bus. They weren't just passengers.
Yes, he would have.
He had a really nice connection with children and was aware if there was a child who was upset that got on the bus or something like this.
I don't know that, but I do remember hearing stories of how much he loved driving the bus with the kids.
This feels a lot better to me. But I do know that besides the children that he drove on the bus, he was a very tender man and had good relationships with children.
Not sure.
Okay, but I feel that, all right, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I do feel that he was someone who had an insight into children and could talk to them on their level.
He probably did yes.
Okay.
Dory, we have Sandy with her hand raised also. I don't know if it's appropriate just to hear her voice.
I don't know, but I do know that the leg issue was a real issue for this gentleman. And I know that eventually he would have passed from a blood clot.
Sandy, could you take this information?
I don't know about the legs. It may have been something he didn't share. I don't know about that.
No, I'm sorry, but I think it's more like Ariel. I just don't think there's enough information there, but I do know that definitely the legs were very important.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
sorry, Sandy. Ariel, I'm afraid I've hit a dead end. I can't go any further with it. But I just know that your godfather would have had problems with varicose veins or blood clots in his legs. And I know that he eventually had to stop driving the bus.
Yes, he did.
Okay. But I do know that it was a medical issue for him that he had to stop. But I also know that he was reluctant to do so.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have any more to give you from your godfather, but I really appreciate your stepping forward, and we finally got to the right person, I believe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank everybody for hanging in there with that last one, but it's important that the right connection be made, and when it doesn't feel right, it just doesn't feel right.
Dory, thank you very much for being so generous with your time and being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, We appreciate it. We really do. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe wholeheartedly that we do not get a magic wand once we end up in that world, that we know everything and we can do everything. You know, some say that there's halls of learning and places that we learn, and there's others that help us come through and communicate. So we trust in the spirit world. We absolutely do. I have a podcast called Shades of the Afterlife, also We Don't Die Radio, and I work really, 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 really hard to try to give as much information as how to connect with our loved ones, how it works, and everything that I've learned in all my years. And so please take advantage of using those. I've got so much, almost 500 combined hours of episodes. There's quite a bit. I know we have loved ones in the unseen world. I know some people have recently passed. I know some people have been gone a long time, and we grieve them just as much as they just left us. And I also know we're moving into the holiday times, which is a tough time as well. But our loved ones are healthy, whole, alive. Like I said about the snow globe, they're looking at our life from just an outside perspective, but they see us, they're with us, they know our pain, they celebrate our joy. And that's why I love our Sunday gatherings. We've had, probably almost 1,000 people that have been able to have their voice be heard again in this time, and with the demonstrations that Carrie and Phil have done online. There's no magic recipe to know that they're communicating with you, but they do communicate through our feelings, through our imagination. And sometimes, with out of the blue, a memory just sneaks in there of something you did together, or you got a whiff of a cologne or something, or they might make an appearance in your dreams. Trust that they are with you. Easier said than done, I know. This coming week, we're going into our new classes that are starting. We have some 7-session classes that are starting. And whether it's getting a connection with your loved one, or learning how to be a medium, learning how your psychic faculty works, I feel like I can't share what good courses we have enough. I mean, they really are priceless. When I heard Dory just demonstrating now, it just reminded me of times that I've been in class with Carrie and Phil. When our loved ones communicate, you actually feel like you're them. It's like you have memories and thoughts and feelings that don't belong to you. And it's magical what it feels like to be able to give another person a reading, so they can see into their world, into their memories, into their thoughts. And even if you don't want to be a medium professionally, you don't have to be. But sometimes when you get these magical moments, you realize that you are a divine soul having a human experience. So coming up this week on Tuesday, there's a wonderful course with Carrie and Phil called The Empowered Self. And it really is to give you power in your journey, in your soul's journey, power from your soul, power from them, power from your spirit team in these challenging months and times ahead. We all need some support. It's just a beautiful class. On Wednesdays, we have psychic development, and psychic development is cool because it's an opportunity to work with a person in a breakout room, somebody who's alive, and get to do readings on them, see how your soul communicates, really build up that strength. And on Thursdays, we have mediumship. So instead of pointing your soul's ability psychically on somebody alive, you use the same ability, and they teach you how to point it to the spirit world. Just wonderful classes. And we always recommend that you have a little experience joining our mediumship class, but we will get you set up correctly. If your heart is really pulling you to be in one of the classes, come join us. If you go to wedon'tdie.com, you can either click on the store button or the at-home courses. We have a lovely class with Scott Milligan coming up the following Monday called Trance in the Altered States. Beautiful opportunity to learn to quiet the mind and to blend with your spirit team. If you just want a taste of what it's like to be in one of our courses, this Saturday, we've got a beautiful 5-hour course with Carrie and Phil called The Underlying Story. And it's how our psychic and mediumship ability works, and to understand the story of the feelings and images and things that are coming through from your soul. So come join us for that. Everything we have and do is, of course, money back guaranteed, but everything's recorded so you can digest it all as an at-home study course as well. Next week, our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley are doing a free hour-and-a-half grief cafe, just an opportunity to be with fellow people and understand some things about grief. Carrie and Phil have a 2-day workshop coming up for our medium students called the Complete Medium, November 12th and 13th. And of course, the first week in December, they are going to be in Cambridge, Ontario. You can go visit them live and take a course with them. Absolutely wonderful. Everything, again, can be found at wedon'tdie.com. One last shout out. Happy birthday to Lee. I know you posted in the chat box that it's your birthday, and we all wish you a happy birthday. We can't personally write back to everybody who writes in that chat box, but we have read absolutely all of them. So we're glad we brought a smile to your face and some love in your heart. And also thank you to our friends who have donated to the Sunday gathering. It's not necessary, but it does help, and it helps us get it out there to the masses, and that's what we aim to do. So just a few words from me about feeling the fear and going forward anyway. Man, I hate fear. I really do. I can feel it when it creeps in, and I think, why am I feeling this? There's nothing to be afraid of, but yet it is so real. It's awful. It'd be one thing if it was fire and I shouldn't put my hand towards the fire and I'm afraid, but sometimes it's as easy as making a phone call that I need to talk to somebody about something and I feel a little uneasy. Well, it's fear, like it's a life or death situation. Feel the fear and go forward anyways. There's a little secret that I've mentioned a few times in the Sunday gathering. But our minds can only be present to one thing at a time when we're in action. And sometimes when that thing you're so afraid of, when you get present and you start stepping in the right direction, the fear disappears because you're present in what you're doing. So take that. Also, fear is an unbelievable illusion. If it is keeping you alive, that's one thing. But like I said, it comes up all the time. So we human beings share 3 real heavy-duty fears, and see if you fall into this. One of them is obviously the fear of dying. That is mankind's biggest fear. But there's also 2 big fears, the fear of being alone and the fear of failure. Those are the top human fears. Well, the good news is we don't die. Our loved ones are around us. Our life continues on. So I know it's easy to say we shouldn't fear death, but everything in our humanity says we don't want to go, and we don't want to go. But when that time comes, it's really as easy as falling asleep at night and you wake up and your loved ones are there and big party, all those wonderful things. And then the fear of being alone, we're never alone. We cannot see the people that are around us right now. And certainly there's people in your life that love you and support you, but you have a team of ancestors, spirit people, loved ones that are cheering you on, many of them who have been through this game called life. And it's like they crossed the finish line first and you're still running on your journey, and they are screaming and cheering, you can do it, we're here for you. You are never alone. And as far as the fear of failure goes, there's no such thing. There really isn't. It took Edison, 1,000 times to make that light bulb, or whatever they say about that. Go after your dreams. You'll have stories, you'll have experiences. And that's what the soul craves, is new experiences. So they're all some kind of success, because even your worst failures, you may think they are, but it may be just the thing somebody else needs to hear. So you never know. So don't be so hard on yourself. Lighten up a little bit. Face your fears and go forwards anyways. So I'm going to turn it back to Phil.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Dory, for the mediumship. Shirley Ann for wonderful and inspiring address. But I can't just say that. I've got to say thank you to Sandra, because Sandra has really inspired us all for so many weeks. I know we all do it together, but Sandra is the glue that really makes us laugh, keeps us on the edge of our seats, keeps that smile there and keeps us alive. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with me, raise your hands, say thank you to Sandra for everything she does. I know it was my theme this week, but Sandra just makes it look so easy and bring everything alive. It's just what she does and who she is. She's one of the most wonderful and kindest people within this world that I've ever met. And I know she's just so generous. She just keeps on giving, keeping those smiles. You know, we know people do a lot of things for us, but when somebody makes us feel really good and on top of the world, we can really conquer anything. And I know Sandra does that for all of us, week in, week out. So I want to say thank you to Sandra for everything she's done. And I'm probably embarrassing her because she doesn't like that praise, but I know deep down she enjoys everything she does, and that makes a difference. So thank you for the wonderful ladies tonight for everything they've done. But it's my turn to take you into that place that we call prayer. So ladies and gentlemen, join me by closing your eyes, thinking of your loved ones, and rejoicing within this light and laughter that we have created this very day under that banner that we call the Sunday gathering of We Don't Die. Father, we ask for that light to illuminate our paths, to take us forward within this world, to be the best possible person we can be. And knowing within that fear that we have at times, we know that you give us strength to break those barriers, to stop those boundaries from defeating us in things in life. It is that joy that you give us of experiencing life and learning us new things. But we know as an individual, each of us takes that step at times. What we don't realize is that other people are watching and being inspired by us. So, Father, we thank you for that light that you give us with abundance. But, Father, most of all, we thank you for that love, that joy of life itself, and everything that you give us. And it's with that that I want to say thank you, and that blessing for every person that has been here today on the gathering, that has received so much joy within their hearts from the wonderful Sandra, the inspiring Shirley Ann Sharp, and for the demonstration of mediumship by Dorrie Rice. It's for those workers that we feel that love this evening. Amen.
Thank you so much, Phil. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And shout out to you too, Phil, because you're the muse who created this. And then I could just add a little Sandra magic. That's what I do. So our closing song is another powerful one about how to go on and live our life. And well, we love you guys. Remember, our home base is wedon'tdie.com. Carrie and Phil, you can find at mymediumship.com. Carrie as well, Darren as well. They just had other things to do today, but we'll see them back soon enough. So here's our closing song. Oh, we love you all. Happy Halloween. Shout out to our Halloween babies that have the birthday tomorrow. We love you all. Next week, our friends in Australia and New Zealand, you get an extra hour's sleep as your clocks go ahead, or our clocks go back, so your clocks go ahead. We love you all. Thank you so much. Don't forget to go register. It's open for next Sunday. Just go to wedon'tdie.com, click on the store page, and you can find our next Sunday gathering. We love you all. Let's put everybody here on screen so we can all wave to you guys. And happy Halloween. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we love you. Bye.